Mr. Chair, all yours.
Yeah, please show.
Here we go. This is it. Now, yeah, it was kind of hot in here, so I just opened them up.
Good afternoon and welcome, everyone. I'm now going to call the Wednesday, September 25th, 2002 meeting of the Norfolk County Commissioners to order. On Thursday, March 12th, 2020, Governor Charles Baker issued an order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20. That order was effective immediately and until it is rescinded or the state of emergency is terminated. On July 17th, 2022, by the action of the legislature, that order was extended until March 31st, 2023. I'm going to ask everyone to join me in saluting of the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This meeting is live and on Zoom, so we're having a so-called hybrid meeting. We'll call the roll. Commissioner Stady,
Present.
Commissioner Collins,
Present.
Commissioner Shea is present. We have a quorum.
Did you sign this one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Number 3, minutes of the open session meeting of September 14th, 2022.
Okay, let's,
For approval.
all right.
Yeah, so I just noticed this. So it says 4, even though it is actually 3.
That's correct.
Yeah,
That's why I
okay.
said 3. All right.
Okay, all right. Yeah, good. Yeah, motion.
Do I have a second on the September 14th minutes?
Second, just give me a minute, Mr. Chairman, if you would, please. We got 3 sets here, right, today?
All right. We got the August 29th set. too.
It's August 29. No problem? You certainly problem? Okay, that's fine. Okay. I'm good.
All right, motion made and seconded to approve the open session minutes of the September 14th, 2022 Commissioners meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
Yeah.
Next, last week, we passed out the minutes of the public hearing, which was held at the agricultural school on August 29th, 2022, relative to the solar issue. And we asked everyone to take a peek at it. I continued it on the agenda
On that,
for your approval. Yeah,
I thought I had brought it to Bill's attention and maybe he may have corrected it. It's been a crazy day, but he says Commissioners present. He left off your name. He has Peter Collins and Richard Stady, but there's no record of you.
well, unfortunately, I chaired that meeting, so I know it was.
I know.
It's a good point.
So, a good catch, right? You have to
Good.
be,
All right,
Good
so
catch.
as amended.
so I would say move. The rest looked okay.
I actually
They did.
I had a couple of typos. I showed that to Bill. So,
Okay.
So if you move it as amended, that'd
Yes,
be great.
I'll move. The approval of the open session minutes of 8/29/22 as amended.
Second.
Motion made, seconded to approve the open session minutes of the public hearing held on August 29, 2022. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
One more minutes, open session, approval of open session minutes of September 21st, 2022, last week for approval.
Wait, is that last week?
Last week.
Yes, I thought I saw a typo on just one thing. And again, it may have been, obviously it's just an oversight. I believe what Acting Director Buckley had said was that we don't want to have any money left over. And somewhere in something, he says, we do want to have money left over or something. It was in page 3. I'm trying to find it.
Halfway down, first paragraph, Mr.
Yeah,
Buckley stated there is a greater need to help facilitate applications. He stated the county does want to return. And I think he means
yeah,
to say does not want.
that's it. We want to insert that. So I would say, I'll move, unless there's anything else, Peter.
Yeah.
I would move approval of the meeting minutes of 9/21 as amended to insert the word not, critical word after does, as presented.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the open session minutes of September 21st, 2022 as amended. All in favor?
Aye,
It is a vote. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Next is our public comment period. Director Cronin, have you been notified by
I have
anyone? Is there anyone out in Zoom land that has any public comment? Last call for public comment. Seeing none, we'll move to number 8, which is appointments. We have none. Number 9 is old business. We have none. Number 10 is personnel matters for consideration.
All right.
I see that
Quite a few. For
the Johns have been cleaning house again
Yeah.
at the agricultural school. We have a number.
You know what, Dick, when it comes to, because I know you read these off, so the first one is fine, but all the other ones are resignations. I would just say as posted. I don't think you have to read each one.
You think it's sufficient?
That's sufficient, yeah.
All right. I'll take that
Correct.
advice.
They're all resignations, right? Oh,
Right.
Uh,
I
the
think
first
they're all,
one's an
I think
appointment.
they are. Well, move the first one, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. That's the registry.
Registry
Go
of
ahead.
Deeds.
That's separate.
I would move notice of appointment of Caroline Misenskis of Foxborough, Mass. as a senior clerk with the rate stated effective 10/3/22. So moved.
Second,
Motion made and seconded relative to the appointment of Carolyn Mucinicus of Foxborough, Mass. as senior clerk effective, does that say 10/3/2022?
10/3, yes.
All in favor?
aye. Yeah, and I make the next one.
Thank you.
The next,
All the rest are resignations.
yeah, I would just say it's a block.
All right. You don't want need the names?
You don't have to read the names. I would just say as
There are
listed.
15, 16, 17, there are 18 of them.
They're all the same, right?
Right, they're all the
Okay.
same.
They seem to be either student workers or substitute instructors.
Right, so I just block them
And I
all.
think they're all for the same date.
And
I think.
they're all effective 9/23,
Right?
so I
Good,
think.
perfect. All
I
right.
think you're good.
So I would move, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
with your permission, I'll move
Yes.
that we approve at the Norfolk County Agricultural High School, the resignations of the names of the different individuals from various towns as either a substitute worker or student labor or substitute instructor as posted and presented on this day, and make it effective 9/23/22.
Second,
There are 18 entries.
18 total entries.
yeah, I'll second that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Okay, motion made and seconded to accept the resignation of 18 student laborers and/or
Substitute instructor.
substitute instructors at the agricultural school. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
If I could, quickly,
Sure.
if I could follow up
Yes.
through you, of course, to the business manager who's here. Are those individuals, were they like summer employees for summer programs?
Yeah, some of them were seniors
Yeah,
that
that's
that
what I-
graduated,
they've
and then
moved
the
on.
other ones are sub teachers who have decided not to continue. We're taking them off of the
And
rolls.
they
of
might have got
substitute
jobs
teachers.
somewhere. or whatever. That's what I thought.
Yeah, so we
Okay.
touched base with them over the summer and say you're going to want to be on the
Excellent.
possibility for this year, and those are the ones that
All
said
right.
no.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, John.
Okay.
All right.
Number 12, payroll and expense warrants for approval.
I have 3 items to approve, Mr. Chairman. The warrant list of 9/28/22. Number 1, 23-13 payroll of the county, the amount of $139,389.79. So moved.
Second,
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
Second, Mr. Chairman, 9-2722 Walsh Recreational Facility Sales Tax. Motion to approve $3,441.44. So moved.
second,
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
And the final one is 09-04-23, the expense of the county. Motion to approve $114,401.72. So moved.
second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
Okay.
Thank you.
There are 2 in this if you want to give.
Number 13, opera warrants for approval.
There are no opera awards for approval this week. I do expect several next week.
Okay. We're going to skip 13 and 14 contract awards because it's scheduled for 1:30 and we'll keep to the calendar, and we're going to go right to number 15. Report on the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Wait, bid opening? No bid opening? Oh,
It's not 1:30 yet.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this afternoon, for the commissioners' information, a couple of updates on ARPA. Number one, the vendor, Clifton Larson Allen, has produced a YouTube video after consulting with the multi-counties. We've all recommended that a one-size-fits-all video of Clifton Larson auditors explaining the procurement rules of ARPA to the communities is warranted. I understand this short YouTube video has been produced. I spoke to Bill Buckley this morning. We're going to post it on our ARPA website, not the county website, so that the communities who are logging in to engage or file applications can find this resource and go back to it time and time again. These YouTube videos are very effective for some folks to get a quick reference and a clarity on exactly what is required for these grants. As you know, the final rule and other guidelines associated with the grant can be quite cumbersome for the procurement people to understand. And we all, as counties involved in this business, felt that this was a very necessary tool. We're hoping to get that video up very, very shortly. In addition, a follow-up from last week's presentation of a proposed Norfolk County Assistant ARPA Coordinator. I heard some feedback from Bill this morning and present an alternative version to that product that was presented to you last week. I'll explain the two edits that I made, which I think address some of the concerns the table had last week. This particular position, as you know, will be part-time. I'm sure this is previously discussed, but we're looking to fund up to $30,000 annually through December 31st, 2024. The individual, the part-time coordinator, will be providing connective services between the county, the communities intended to receive the funds, and the decision makers within each county that are responsible for the use. Excuse me. Special attention on grant advocacy toward community applications will be for programs associated with mitigating the pandemic's impact on the elderly, disabled, and citizens that were disproportionately affected by the pandemic. We're going to enhance the contract request by connecting the need within Norfolk County to have a knowledge of nonprofit service delivery points. These are organizations within Norfolk County, small communities as well as large communities that can work directly with the applicants to enhance these funds reaching those most disproportionately affected. And furthermore, lastly, at the very end, we thought it might be useful to have some familiarity with the multilingual and cultural needs of Norfolk County residents. I recall meeting with Commissioner Stady, and I think it was Town Administrator Brian Randolph. Was Brian's last name? Howard, thank you. And Brian made an impression on us that, Howard, Randolph's a very diverse community, and they utilize tools frequently to reach some of their immigrant communities vis-a-vis their website, multilingual tools and things like that. So we want this individual to be familiar with those needs and the multilingual reach that is necessary in some of these cases to reach disproportionately affected applicants. So those two changes, I put this forward and be happy to answer any additional questions you all might have this week. And I've noted on the bottom, this is the version this week, so you don't confuse with the prior.
I have to write two on to be doubly sure. Because I'll end up reading the other one. Okay. Any discussion?
I think your packet also contained a copy of the Barnstable County coordinator that recently been hired.
I noted that that you included or was included in our packet the job description for perhaps I'm not going to say similar, but something involving opera with the county. Of course, Barnstable County is different, a different county and has a different take on things. So I can see maybe perhaps the magnitude of the job and the scope of the salary perhaps being a little different,
They have, as you may know, and Commissioner Shea knows this better than I do, they have not only commissioners, but they have a council of government.
Right.
And we've understood from the very beginning as we collaborate with them that Barnstable County's had some challenges trying to reconcile the wants and needs of two governing bodies. They have different ideas of how to do this.
Right.
My counterpart and Bill's counterpart made it clear early on that they could really use somebody to kind of bridge the gap between the local government needs and what the county government can do for them. So there is some similarity there. We've met this incumbent. I've already forgotten her name. She's been at a couple of our meetings. Excuse me.
Right. No, I was just saying as a passing comment. But for you, maybe I'm missing it. Where is the bilingual or the
Footnote number 2.
It's right at the bottom above the date.
Oh, okay. He was listed there. All right.
Yeah, associated with the
Okay.
proven communication skills.
Okay, I get it now. You subscripted in there. Okay. All right. So Mr. Chairman, if I may, unless
Sure.
you want to talk about this a little bit. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this job. And I know Director Cronin was not with us last week. I had expressed a concern about the fact that I think we have a terrific program in place. I think the best one, I would say, with pride in the state. Everywhere you go, people talk about how great Norfolk County is doing and how our portal is excellent and, so on and so forth. Although I was at a function in Canton, my hometown, for a retirement of Charlie Aspinwall, which was a very nice tribute that I presented on behalf of the board. That went very well. But he was saying that the finance person said he was having some problems. So you never know. But might be that as it may, this person, whoever it might be, I'm trying to wrap around my head what hours would they have and where would they be located? And would they be here like one day a week and then they'd be out on the road? And if so, would you be going with them or Bill or one of us?
Not necessarily. This individual is more of a field individual. I harken back to some of the challenges that we had in the first year, Commissioner Stady. You may recall, and I remember talking to you about this.
Mhm.
Excuse me. There were some concerns that some of the communities were misunderstanding, misinterpreting the county's use of the funds. And we spent a lot of time, first 6 months, trying to engage some of the larger communities and smaller communities to pivot them towards the goals of this grant. I'll give you an example. In Braintree, for example, there was a misunderstanding about the revenue loss application. And when we met with a woman from Needham who lived in Medfield, and she presented to us some really great ideas for enhancing homelessness and our need to address the homelessness population in Norfolk County. We moved her back to working with communities. We saw the need for a link between what the communities can do with this money and their own NEU money and getting those applications off the ground. This particular position can provide that link, can work directly with the county communities to bring forth eligible projects that are being used in other communities or enrich them through conversations with local nonprofits, like you said. That's what's missing. What we do see is that there are still over a half a dozen communities that have not entered the portal, Commissioner. They've not engaged in that for over a year. We have about 2 years left on this grant. Excuse me. And we hope that folks optimize these resources. This position will reside mostly in the community. We'll work directly with the communities, reporting back to us, to you on a quarterly basis on how active they are to ensure that those grant funds that are available to each community lock in and become eligible projects down the road. So it's fulfilling the need to have more personal and direct communications with the applicants.
Would this then, I'll be devil's advocate. Would this alleviate some work from you then? This would be something.
No, this is work that is not, this is work that is, it's more connective. And I use that word repeatedly in this description. It's work directly with the town administrator and the applicant. It's not work that I could do. I don't want to advocate for the communities. I'm approving their applications. I'm on the other side of this. This person's on the front side. So they're going to say to, Town Administrator Stady, have you thought about a program that does this, this, and this, that reaches these types of populations? It's being run very successfully here right now. Let me get you the information. And I'll sit down with your grant applicant, your grant coordinator to help write the grant. Not write the grant, but explain it to them, the benefits of reaching this type of population.
Would they be working more closely than with, say, Clifton Larson, the people on that side?
That's on our side. Yeah, these are more advocates or connective resource driven needs that our communities, I think, require. We actually had a couple of instances very early on where some of the communities were not very happy with us. Bill and I heard about it in our monthly meetings with the managers. This type of coordinator is going to be sitting down with those town managers and in some cases maybe selectmen and trying to put out fires and letting them know, look, this grant is for everybody. And we want to make sure it's successful. Let's work productively towards that goal. So they're doing more of that kind of advocacy role. But it's not. They're not on the applicant approval side.
Right.
That's where Bill and I represent.
I just don't want to see. I would say personally, I don't want to see a duplication of effort. I'm saying if we appoint somebody in this position, and this person, whoever it is, and they go in the community, let's say they go to Canton or Stoughton or Quincy, and then they come back and now they're bombarding him with extra work on top of what he's got to do already. I mean, if as long as it's streamlined and this defined role, it sounds like they're connecting the opera program to communities that perhaps have not, like this person probably wouldn't be needed in Milton. Right? Or like Bellingham, a lot of those towns that are fired up and
And to answer the question, no, but naturally, yes, because Milton's had some turnover at their leadership.
Okay.
To that point, but you're right.
But I mean, some of the towns have already fired in like 4 or 5 applications to kind of approve.
They're on the
And there are other towns, I know, by looking at the list, we haven't had anything.
Right.
So maybe the person.
We'll collaborate with the coordinator. I intend to speak with the contractor regularly to inform them that the status of our grants is X, Y, and Z. And we'd like to, focus your resources over the next several months on this area. Please pay attention to this. We want to make sure that we fulfill our needs, that sort of thing. It's really optimizing our grant and making sure that the communities see the benefit of the Norfolk County administrative resources. And I will add this draft, unless Bill has already mentioned it to you, has been approved by Clifton Larson as an eligible use of funds.
It is,
Yeah.
okay. And doesn't need advisory board approval.
No, it's a grant, so none of this is.
All right, one last question. I
Sure.
did this, again, something that's dear to my heart. Nonprofits have a process already, and we were even encouraged by different congressmen way back to make sure that they are part of the process. So I know that the clock is ticking. Hopefully this person would also be reaching out to them in an appropriate way. We obviously want to take care of our towns first. We know that. But now might be the time to reach out to some of those nonprofits, right? Like in
Yes.
23,
That's absolutely part of it.
2023, I would say, as we turn the clock.
We would like that kind of collaboration. It's going to be tricky, and I'll tell you why.
Mhm.
We know Brookline is, when Brookline comes in, they're probably going to come in with their whole lot.
Yeah,
They
I've
have
heard.
multiple programs that are queued.
Right,
And a lot of them, Commissioner, are related directly to the nonprofits.
right.
If you may remember from our
Yes.
conversation with the selectmen. And I wouldn't want the coordinator to be working directly with those coordinators because that's already locked and ready to go.
Okay,
But I would like the coordinator to make sure that if they go to Randolph or Weymouth or Westwood or some of these other communities that may have nonprofits that are looking for a way in, to say, what is your concern? What kind of resources do you require to reach your disproportionately affected population? And then have that conversation replicated with the town. They have to bring the handshake back to the town as the applicant to say, okay, I just met with, ABC Corporation. They need, so much free meals for elderly citizens. How do we expedite that? The cost of the program is potentially this. Is this something that you can fit into your ARPA application with the county? And if so, I'd like to introduce you to somebody who can give you the details, can we work together on. That's what I'm talking about. That's the connective resource that I think reaches the nonprofits as well as some of the other ideas that the communities probably haven't fulfilled yet.
well, to address even the needs of the elderly citizens, do we envision this person then going to the different elder services councils and talking about APRA so that they would then talk to their select board or mayors?
Again, this is
And,
where
you
you're
know-
going to have somebody who is very adept at managing local government.
Mhm.
Yes, to answer your question in short,
Hmm,
if it was me, I would not make those calls or I would not have those meetings until I spoke to the town.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you would be going around.
Right, that's true.
You may
Yeah.
be stepping
Okay.
on toes, but I can't
Okay.
imagine any community saying
all
no,
right.
but you're going to need some kind of,
Interesting.
skill navigating local government. Make sure that
So Barnstable has someone that's in a similar capacity,
full-time.
and Plymouth has someone too?
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
That's Matt Hanley
Yeah, it's like they're
And so
ending up
does
in
Bristol.
Bristol.
in Bristol. No, wait,
Gonzalez.
Hanley's where? I'm sorry, forgive me.
Plymouth.
Plymouth. And Bristol has one too?
Jane Gonzalez.
So they're all the counties are doing this.
That's correct. And I believe, I shouldn't say this, but I think one of our larger communities hired a coordinator. I cannot recall which one. I'll talk to you later. I got
A member towns.
Yeah, it's a very large town in Norfolk County, and they believe they hired a coordinator to help them. I know Franklin hired somebody to help them move their grant programs in. But
That's what I heard last week too.
Quincy did too.
A town that it's going to maybe just, he's getting so bogged down and, right or wrong with the paperwork that he said, we might just hire a coordinator and let that person be the person that handles it all.
in Franklin,
So, no,
yeah.
this is Canton.
Oh,
this is
Canton.
Canton.
Okay, yeah.
So but their application, they got bogged down into an area that was kind of gray, a nonprofit, but in related to the Canton, was rather than a water sewer, those kind of slam dunks, they're in an area that perhaps was so it's tricky. But be that as it may, this makes more sense to me now. I like and I needed a little time to process it, Okay. I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman. I'm good.
A couple of questions, and I've been thinking about this for a long time and talking to John. And I don't ever mind comparing us to other counties because there's very few original ideas in government. Most people over their realm of experience cherry pick and what fits. And that's
Imitation's-
good too.
Imitation's the highest form of flattery.
That's correct. But we started out by adding a stipend to director, assistant director, and assistant county treasurer.
Right.
And, it came up in conversation, and I think it's moderate when they're 10,000 each, and this is 30. The whole total is only 60. Every one of these other places started out over or in the 100,000 range, if not more, for their people. And in addition, they reviewed their county. I know the county treasurer of Plymouth and I believe in Bristol also got a bump. Or some people in their office, similar to what we did with Joe Doria. So I think we're keeping within the mainframe. The other thing is this is couched just to opera at this time. And if it's reviewable, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I'd like to give it a try. I'm not complaining about the workload, however. We finally have a team in place. We've had almost 100% turnaround in this office on the staff. Now with Jeannie gone. Started a long time ago with Ann Brown. And everyone is new. We got and you'll hear about it, a wing dinger of a public records request into this office yesterday.
Yes.
And we forwarded to Attorney Lopez, but I'll be happy to give it to you before you leave, but it is huge. And freedom of information requests have a time stamp on them.
Okay.
And we're gonna comply, but it
Well,
is
this person's gonna
huge.
hit-
This
that
person
person's
wouldn't do
gonna hit
that,
Okay.
but the other people would.
I was getting a little mixed
I
up.
mean,
Okay.
it was like, who's,
Yeah.
we talked briefly about it this morning. Not that I'm complaining, because God knows, but I don't, we're all different, but I can't emphasize enough, and I say it everywhere I go, how so far this program has gone really, really good. But to get into it over a year already and not hear from some of the towns makes me wonder whether the word is getting down as well as it should. And we all have a member town that we're close with, and plus the adjacent towns. And I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I want to run out and tell people spend this money, but I feel I think we need to do a better job, and that's what I view this position as. And we're not going to pay benefits.
No
We
benefits.
don't
And it wraps
going to
up
pay
in 24,
pension.
right?
No,
Oh,
It wraps up at the end of 2024.
yeah.
Per this document.
The job is over in 2024, correct?
That's when the obligation period ends.
Yeah.
If the
Awesome.
commissioners want to extend it, they may, but the grant ends that date. We get obligate funds after that if necessary.
Okay.
It's not a vision. One other thing, I know you have a 130, Commissioner Shea, but I wanted to point out that we are entering a phase shortly where we're going to have to consider increasing the allotment of ARPA funds to the grant recipients. We're at 50% right now, which is pretty standard. But I'm going to be recommending likely next week that we increase that to a new number, possibly 66%, so the communities can gain more access to their award value. During the next period of time, the next year or so, this individual will also help us manage some of the grants that have already been distributed that may have been completed and funds are left over. We've already seen one community that wants to send money back because they're done and they have extra money. So we're going to be using, I don't want to use the words clawback because that's a different term, but we're going to be using some active communication between the coordinator, the community, and our treasury to make sure they're not only optimizing their funds, but returning them quickly so that we can reauthorize.
That's good.
anything else? This vote, if we take it today, and I hope we do, will allow the director to post this job and then take it from there, correct?
You have a timetable on when for hiring?
It'll be probably posted for, I believe Nancy said 2 weeks. We can confirm.
We'll have someone in place by, say, Thanksgiving, something like that.
I can envision this person being on board by the end of October.
Oh, really? That's so.
Sure.
Okay. Okay.
We get an applicant.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, if you want, I would move a motion to,
proceed with
let's see,
posting.
will we create the position of Norfolk County Assistant Opera Coordinator to assist our ongoing opera program, and that the job description as presented on this date, dated September 28, be the guideline for the posting of the job. Said position to be paid up to $30,000 annually, and to be a position in place through December 31, 2024. This paid position would be entirely through APA federal grants funds, which are permissible, as mentioned by Director Cronin.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to proceed with posting the Assistant Opera Coordinator position with an eye towards getting him to work this fall, pending interviews, etc. Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. 3-0.
Thank you, John.
It is 1:30. Nance, please. We have bid openings at 1:30 and then immediately after contract award. I don't think we have any bid opening, but we'll let Nancy tell us.
Nancy?
Finance.
Hi, Nance.
Hello.
Do we have bid openings too tonight? No, we just have
We just
contract
have
awards.
contract
Okay, we're gonna go right to contract awards. The first one is the cleaning of the granite main entrance, the Norfolk County Superior Courthouse. Nance,
Yep, recommendation to award to the Olson Company in the amount of $27,800. They were the low of the bids we received.
okay.
And
Do
this
we have
will
an
be,
eye towards getting this completed before October 16th?
10 days from today.
Okay, that's very good. Any other questions?
Nope.
It's
Sounds
the
good to
same
me.
company that did the dump work.
Right, great. I move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion to award it to, is that, what's the name of the company?
The Olson.
Alton.
Awesome.
Awesome.
There it is.
Olson.
Last week.
Okay. Motion moved and seconded to award the cleaning of the granite main entrance in Norfolk County Superior Court to the Olson Corporation, presently doing work on the dome and the wrought iron railings. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Number 2, paving for the Wollaston Recreation Facility.
Yep, recommend award to Daniels Asphalt Services in the amount of $210,000 for the paving. New company to us. I checked several references. They all came back.
What's
very
the
good.
name of the new company?
Daniels Asphalt Services.
Daniels?
Daniels, out of Fall River.
Okay, did we impress upon them that we're trying to get it done this year before the plan?
Yes,
The
What was the
snowplows?
bid on it?
210,000.
Oh, yeah, there was a little better. Was that the fellow who had the Norwood Mustang shirt?
Yes,
They
yes.
were a little better, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right, yeah. I remember that.
And they passed muster because they're new to us, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions about Daniels and Company and the awarding of the paving at Wallaston Recreation Facility?
I'll move approval.
Make a motion to, not make a motion, but make a remark that Nancy's confirmed. This value also includes the striping and lining of the parking lots. It's not just paving.
Great.
Great.
That's good.
Okay.
Okay, motion?
That's been moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. and
Second.
It's
Motion
for
made and
Daniels
seconded.
Asphalt Services in the amount of $210,000 for paving the Wallaston recreational facility. Said work to also include the lining and striping.
Motion made and seconded to approve the awarding of the asphalt paving and lining at the Wallaston Recreation Facility to Daniels Asphalt. All in favor? Aye, it is unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Report on the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, Director Cronin,
I've completed my presentation of that, Commissioner.
earlier today.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
pretty much done with that. If you'd like, I'll jump right into a brief report.
Sure.
I have a few items. Just wanted to let the commissioners know I was informed this morning our energy budget for FY '23 is likely to experience some stressors, not unexpected. We knew energy costs were increasing. We're already tracking potential deficiency in the $200,000 range. This will be something we'll monitor as we get further into fiscal year '23. So between electrical, gas, heating, fuel, and oil, and other such utility costs, we'll have to reconcile with those as we get further into the fiscal year. They are substantial, and I know John's here. The schools will likely be similarly impacted as well. Commission should be informed. I was informed the maintenance roof at the Wellston Golf Course has been completed. They repaired the roof. They replaced the roof and repaired some of the underlayment. We're also tracking a change order on the hole 15. We need some drainage work done in that area. Nancy will be working on a contract amendment for that. The work across the street at Old River Place is substantially completed. There was a site walk done by the Dedham Conservation Commission this past week to observe the plants and seeding that has been put in place. The order and conditions will not be released until the spring when it's perceived that all such fixes have been completed. I want to thank Patrick Higgins immensely for his help coordinating that project in his backyard on behalf of the county. It was a project that involved working directly with the abutters and the neighbors on behalf of our needs. So it went off quite well, and my thanks to Patrick for that. And then finally, next week, I expect to have 3, possibly 4 more ARPA awards. 2 of them are quite substantial. We will be trying to coordinate any interested parties to come in for photographs. If we need to, we can wait. I know you're out next week, right? Following week or just
No,
next week?
just 1 week.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll try to move them into the following week. So any
Right.
kind
Stowe-
of presentation.
Stowe said
Stowe
they
may be one of them. I still have
they'll
some
come
work
to
to
12. They said they'd be interested.
Perfect.
Coming on that.
So we'll coordinate all that. But,
Yeah.
things are looking up. And following this, I'll check with Bill again as we enter the fall season. Our hope was to try to coordinate some site awards with representatives or congressmen and senators, if you will. We did not reach that this summer. We're going to try again this fall with perhaps some congressional resources coming up to have some presentations made with congressmen and senators. We'll let you know.
Right.
Yeah, I had not constant communication, but frequent communication with Congressman Lynch's office, Dan Lynch, as a matter of fact, who's aware that we're trying to do some opera stuff, and I'm trying to wrap it around perhaps the same day we get to the Wallace Recreation Facility between the paving. And if, once they break ground for the playground, we might do 2 or 3 pictures all in one day. Which would take in that end of the county, because the congressman's interested in being there.
We haven't set a date in the playground yet, have we?
No.
No date on that. Okay.
No, well,
Not yet.
ideally, we're looking for, August becomes September, becomes October, but
Yeah.
I'm aware of our schedules too.
Yeah.
With that.
Dates are filling up fast.
The work,
October's
however,
gonna be incredible.
the work will proceed in Quincy to
Yeah.
complete the playground. I believe they were looking to do their construction in early October.
Yeah, great.
So it'd be
If I make a formal dedication,
grand
or,
opening. Yeah.
opening, whatever. Yeah.
Well, a little bit, but it'd be nice to get it. I mean,
National Grid sent out a consumer advisory to anyone who utilizes this service. They expect significant increased costs
right.
this winter. We're going to see a lot more of that, as you expressed, energy costs going up.
Keep an eye on it.
Yeah,
There's a big story in today's Globe about it too. So
yeah,
the Ukrainian war has a big effect on it, and people should expect a longer winter for the heating season, whether it be
right. Trickle down.
gas or oil. Yeah, it trickles
Doesn't
down.
matter. Right.
That's a good question. We just signed that contract a couple months ago, or weeks ago, maybe.
Mhm.
Just- I mean, they reflect everything in that, correct?
Yes.
What do they stick-
I think there was a 1-year contract too.
It
so
is. I'd like to keep it close because it changes a lot.
Mhm.
Okay, I mean, it's unfortunate, but me ask you this, could we pay our oil bill with oil?
No.
Okay, I always try. Okay. Oil and gas, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
One other item, I'll let the commissioners know more, but I was receiving some text today from the county treasurer. He's interested in bringing a member of the advisory board in for a conversation on retirement benefits. This is an item that I've really at 1,000 feet. There has been a fair amount of communication at the local community level between the retirement board and these communities that feel as though their actuarial calculations are incorrect and disproportionately and negatively affect the community's contributions towards the retirement system. I had one conversation with Treasurer Bellotti about a month ago, who had multiple conversations with communities, including Paul Connors and others, about what this impact means. And I believe he wants to bring forth some concepts and ideas to flatten out that cost between the communities and the county. To me, that sounds more like the county will be paying more and the communities less, but we'll learn more when that information comes forward. But Michael said he was looking in the next couple of weeks, so I'll keep you all.
If I could follow up on Director Cronin's comments. So energy costs are going to go up, we know that. But I remember, Mr. Chairman, you mentioned a couple of weeks back now, the idea of having an energy czar, or someone to kind of look at energy
Look at
in the
everything.
county. I mean, this would be a good time to keep that idea going and, work on it, because energy costs are we're going to be feeling it, no question. And maybe it would help us to look at energy, obviously, for all our buildings,
Mhm.
in terms of what we're spending, what we project to spend, and other things we can do in terms of alternative sources of energy or other alternative methods. Like we said, I know the steam pump, some of those things,
Heat pump,
the heat pumps, are interesting,
Well,
but, ideas.
I have it on my to-do list, but I promised before the holidays, I will get a proposal in here. I think if we can broaden the scope to look at everything, I was just told this week that there's a bid coming up. I know this is near and dear to your heart, but for 30,000 square feet for the DA's office and the probate court. I'm trying to find out the dates, etc. And it doesn't, it's time to rebid
Oh, I
the
see.
folks that are in,
Ah,
and, and you take that, you take the Quincy Court issue, you take general conditions of all the courthouses and now, and the school, if we could hire a consultant, that if we could pay, hopefully for federal money and give him 6 or 8 months and have him look at every building we have. I mean, it doesn't mean that we'd have to do everything, because you probably couldn't afford to do everything. But
mm,
we gotta have a map for where we're going. Because things are gonna change when Quincy, the new Quincy is built. And I don't just mean that we're gonna lose it as a place. It's gonna, we're gonna have some money that we might be able to do some things other places.
right. And I don't want to reinvent the wheel.
No,
Seeing that there was a study done before I was a commissioner, but again, have that person look at alternative forms of energy
Mhm.
and alternative uses of it. Like I think we stopped looking at the installation of those charging stations, perhaps, at some of our facilities. We've got the gentleman
that
from
was
Milton,
before, yeah.
who's a good friend of ours, who's
Yeah,
connected in that program. He's very happy to come in and talk about that again or whatever. So,
everything's on the table.
we could put a few at the Aggie School. And
I
it would
could,
be a good thing to do. You're starting to see them more often. In Canton, to my surprise, I had a conservation hearing, and it just happened. And Canton installed 6 spaces at the Peakleside Farm, which is a very small parking lot. And you're not allowed to park there unless you got an electric car. So it's very
well,
interesting.
that's at least,
Charging,
I'm
but-
not aware of much else in other communities. I think Milton's, that's very innovative.
Yeah, it is. No, it is. It is. But
I have 1 or 2 friends that have bought those cars and they're high on them, but they said, hey, I'm riding around, and one's a doctor, as a matter of fact, my neighbor down the Cape, and he said, it's hard to find places to plug
Yeah.
in.
right. It will grow.
Oh, yeah.
Well, according to Dr. Milton, was it Mr. Dennehy?
Right.
Yeah, he had said that the federal program
It's
spending
requiring,
billions. They're trying to get corridors on the East Coast and the West Coast. the 95 and the corresponding, whatever it is on the West Coast. They're trying to get all those underway and put them up and down, and then it'll kind of work from there. But yeah, it's forward thinking.
Okay,
Good.
and when I think about this, I want to refer back to the letter we received from DA Marcy about 5 weeks ago. He outlined some of this pretty clearly.
Yeah,
And, you know, he's an
I believe his
innovative
letter was
person in his
directed
own,
to-
but
I believe his letter was directed to the Chief Justice.
it was, but he sent it to us. He knows.
yeah.
One quick item, if I could,
Go ahead.
on the same topic, just to circle back. I do intend to take the first step in the direction of an energy audit or review of what our facilities needs. I mentioned this before, but just to reiterate, with the state, we have a strong partnership with the trial courts. I've spoken to Chuck O'Brien multiple times. He's made available to us his engineers and his resources to help us understand how to optimize our buildings' efficiencies for heating, cooling, and so forth, as well as upcoming facility renovations and so forth. We had these meetings last summer and then they tapered off because he had just started. So he wants to get back to it. But I've informed the commissioners previously, I intend to have this meeting in October with Mr. McGowan, Mr. Vignoni, and our staff to collaborate with the state and put on the table what are the things that we can do immediately to start building in better energy efficiency, whether it's renewable energy or renovations to the current facility to diminish the loss of heat and cooling. So those will be the first steps we take and then grow it from there. But that way we avoid the cost of a consultant. We're doing things in concert with the state to ensure our reimbursements are tight, right? Be in better shape, but it's likely to be an October meeting.
Good.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anything else? I have one more. This is a amendment to the request from the Norfolk and Dedham Insurance Group. Caitlin Pasella, Marketing Coordinator. It says, the Norfolk and Dedham Group is very grateful for approving our previous request for the use of parking spaces on Tuesday, October 4th. Our previous request was to use the space the evening of Tuesday, October 4th from 4 to 7 p.m. We requested permission to use the spaces from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, October 4th. So this is an amendment. I know that they're way down in the back and they don't interfere with us, but
But it's all day though.
it's all day now.
Yeah.
I think we should
Would that
I
affect
think we should
the?
approve it, but forward it to the register. for
Yeah, I was
any
just thinking,
comments he made.
It'd be fine.
yeah. Approve it, but forward it to the
Okay.
register. Make sure. it's-
Motion made and seconded.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. And
Okay.
it's a vote and we'll note the change and send it to the register for his comment. I have nothing else.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, real quick, through you, of course, to Director Cronin, I would like to see if we could perhaps get some kind of an update and even have him come in. You mentioned Patrick, our engineer. It's been a little while since we've talked to him. It might be nice to see what projects are going on, what's wrapped up, where are we going? Just kind
Patrick's
of,
on the
you
line right
know,
now.
kind of a. Patrick, you
It's
there?
not on the agenda.
No,
Okay.
no, I mean, yeah, it'd be nice to have him, or even just a little summary of what's
Yeah.
happening. So kind of just
All
check
right,
in,
let's put it down.
you know, because.
Always
and-
nice to see Patrick.
Yeah, and we had a request on funding, but I know there's ongoing lawsuits, or I probably can't say anything about this now at this point. But,
It's not on the agenda.
okay, no, it's not on the agenda. Okay, fine. All right, good. That was all I had. That's all I had.
Okay,
Okay.
last call. Anything else?
Motion to
All
adjourn.
right.
Motion to adjourn, all in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. We have a regularly scheduled meeting next week.
You're on your